I warned you. Here is some pride angst. I think Deku came out like pretty much the moment he was a pro hero to help like other like LGBTQ youth figure out who they are. But when he did, he was already the #1 hero, and everyone called him the #1 F slur. And yeah, the Baku squad is still really like this even as pro heroes. So people will call them like the F slur squad and things of that variety, and it really tears them down sometimes. But it's kind of what happens, and mainly, unfortunately, during Pride Month. I think after a while, people started to realize that Bakugo was the one responsible, really, or the way that he feels was responsible for bringing All Might to his fall. And once people learn that, they say that, of course, the queers brought down the world's strongest hero and stuff of that sort. More Pride angst will be coming, sorry. Part 2 to Pride angst as a little, warning for what you're about to get into. So we all know about the trainerships in My Hero: Deku x Uraraka, Bakugo x Uraraka, Todoroki x Momo, like things of that caliber, right? So I think they all more or less kind of dated each other at one point, at least in my head. A lot of them kind of like were confused or were just going out to see what they liked and stuff of that sort, and everybody was okay with it because they were all really close friends. But when they eventually grew up and like started getting married and like realizing that like, hey, we're queer and that's okay, instead of going out with those of the same gender and things like that, and identifying differently, people weren't really the most welcoming at first. And people told them, like, should have just stayed in the closet. Queers can't protect this world. Queers are what's wrong with the world, and things of that caliber. And it really put a damper on a lot of the pro heroes' moods, but they still went out to protect people as usual. It's still Pride Month for me. It is 11/16, so let's keep going with Pride angst. I actually think there was a point where a lot of people went on strike and went against the help of any pro hero who had openly come out as a part of the LGBTQ plus community. And this could have meant anything from actually being like gay, bi, omnisexual, any of those, to simply being an ally. So a lot of people were getting hurt because they refused the help of a lot of LGBTQ plus heroes. And they all eventually worked it out, but there was a really long period of time where things just weren't okay. I also think because of this, there was a time when a bunch of the pro heroes were this close to being turned villains, and that's when society realized it was time to make a change, because they were tired of being hated on for simply being open about who they were and finally being able to be proud and happy with themselves. More Pride angst, because Pride angst. Let's do some while they were still students instead of when they were pro heroes like the rest of these have been. So while they were students, there was an official Pride Month parade at the school to help everybody out. A whole bunch of Class 1A and Class 1B students went, hoping to find peace, happiness, to confront their fears and to feel more welcome. Instead, when more people found out about this and realized how much of future pro heroes were queer, they all sort of had a riot and sent a bunch of hate online, and the teachers tried to keep a lot of students from seeing it, but the students pretty much saw all of it. There was a long time after that Pride parade where a lot of the students simply wouldn't even own up to the fact that they were at that parade, even if people could more or less prove it. They'd be like, that wasn't me at that parade. I have no idea what you're talking about, because they were so scared of being harassed.